Hey, and it's welcome back. It's Easter Monday. Right after Easter, I hope you had a great time. I hope you spent time with family. Last week, I told you we had a bunch going on, and we did. So we didn't cover any of these other cases. But Michael Brown, 44, of Myrtle Beach, he had a gun, but he had a record which indicated that he shouldn't have had a gun. And I've told you over and over, we've got U.S. attorneys in-house. One of our U.S. attorneys went up and prosecuted this case in Florence through the federal system. What that does is it allows us to see what sentences protect our community better. And some places the feds have better laws, especially on gun charges, than the state does. And sometimes the state has better charges on drugs, but we get to pick and choose, and that always ends with a better result. So Michael Brown, 44, of Myrtle Beach, feds do it a little differently. They went ahead and found him guilty last week, and after they do a Senate investigation where they send out people to look at stuff, he's facing up to 15 years. He'll get some amount of time between 5 and 15 years, but that'll be for a future judge to do. But it's not just what's going on in Ori. We do a lot of stuff in Florence, in federal court also. One other little side note in case you get hit up on Jeopardy. If the federal case initiates out of Georgetown, it goes to Charleston. So the 15th Circuit is Ori and Georgetown. Ori cases go to the Florence office, federal office. Georgetown cases go to the Charleston office. And it's just a different mechanism there. London Staggs, 19, of Moore, South Carolina. I think Moore's, I think it's around Florence. But anyway, he was sentenced to 15 years in prison last week. This was part of the Music Fest, Country Music Fest, where police got in after Staggs and some of the other ones, chased him, and he ran into a place, a car parking lot, and ended up firing at police. He didn't hit anybody, but that firing at them cost him 15 years in prison for the amount, and that was a Myrtle Beach police officer that he fired at. Thank goodness nobody was hurt. Anytime you get big crowds coming in, whether it's Easter weekend or Country Music Fest or anything like that, you bring in a percentage of people that are up to no good. The vast majority of people are there to listen to Luke Bryan and drink beer and heat to death. But you got a group that is there to sell drugs or rob people, and that was. This guy's walking around with a gun. The police get after him, and he ends up shooting at one of them. Timothy Pearl, 46, of Myrtle Beach, he got 10 years in prison. This is what I was talking about last week. Judge Kelly is from Spartanburg area, and he kind of got on a roll on a 10-year sentence kick. Not saying that's a bad sentence, but it was 10 after 10 after 10. And for all of y'all that's saying that's a slap on the wrist, when you pull 10 years, you go in at 46 and you come out at 56 or 54, or whatever 85% of 10 is, that is not a slap on the wrist. I don't want to spend one day in jail, much less 10 years. But he goes to prison for trafficking in crack cocaine. And he will serve at least 8.5 of those 10 years before he gets out. And I want a gentle reminder, I don't sentence people. I recommend stuff. We present evidence. The judge has got a part in it too, and I'm not saying it's a bad sentence, but that was Judge Kelly gave him the 10 years. There are plea agreements, but usually that's a range, and 10 years apparently fell within that range. Joshua Whitley, 30 years old, of Conway, pleaded guilty to trafficking in meth, possession with intent to distribute fentanyl, which is the same statute as distribution of fentanyl, strong arm robbery, and first-degree domestic violence, and he was given 10 years. That was also Judge Kelly. He'll have to serve 85% before he is eligible for parole. I get this all the time. Well, a person can sell drugs and get more time than shooting at someone. 10 is less than 15, but I get what you're saying. But a lot of the times, what happens is when it's a drug sale, I know you're a bad person. I know you got several charges. I know I got a police officer that has got videotape of the drug sale, and that is easy to prove, and we're able to get a big sentence for that. Most of the time when it's domestic violence, or when it's on certain assault cases, that murder case I was telling you about last week, believe me, we had to have people arrested, victims, witnesses arrested to come in and testify. People don't want to be involved. So a lot of times with drug cases, we just say, look, we're not even getting into whether or not you did that. Did you sell the drugs or didn't you? And if you want a trial, we'll give you a trial on the drug stuff where we got police officers that are doing the hand-to-hands, or CIs with videotapes. So for us, the bad guy is off the street. Now you might say, I wish he was off the street for this particular crime more than that particular crime. But we tell the judge all about it if it goes to a plea. If it goes to a trial, we'll tell the judge about the other pending charges. So they know about that going into it. Ryan Davenport, 41, Tabor City. You know, we've talked about people coming from Florence all the time. We still have people coming from Tabor City. He came in and pled guilty to possession with intent to distribute fentanyl. He was given a sentence of 10 years for that. That was Judge Kelly. And a Myrtle Beach man gets 12 years. Michael Lake, 43, got 12 years for distribution or selling methamphetamine. This was a 2017 case, a very old case, but I don't know if he absconded and that caused it to get older, but that was one of the oldest cases. We had to reopen it. It goes on contingent docket and comes back. So he's serving a 12-year sentence. He sold to a confidential informant with Horry County Police Department and Vice, and he'll be serving the time on that charge. And that, again, it's 85%, so he'll serve right at 10 years before he's eligible for parole. And finally, another 10-year sentence went to Jalen Ingram, who is 19, too young to be doing this, but trafficking fentanyl, 4 to 14 grams, first degree assault and battery, and possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime. And he was also given a 10-year sentence. This was a Myrtle Beach case, and on all of those running concurrent, he will have to serve about 8.5 years before he comes up for parole. So a lot going on. We'll be back at it again this week, starting with trials and pleas, and we'll update you on what took place next week.